We want our kids to have action, moving forward, trying to score all the time. So how do we do that? Well, we got to identify things that are stalling. Now, again, I'm a former coach. That kid was up 1-0. I needed him to stall. I knew that referee wasn't going to call stalling, and I told my kid to blanket ride him. He won 1-0. But we got to try to make them wrestle. Fans don't want to be in the stands watching no action, all right? So all positions of stalling. If you're thinking that it's stalling, it probably is, right? As referees, we have to be consistent with our calls. Again, coaches, you love it when we're consistent, right? If we're going to call that boundary call that call every time, right? That coach, I knew that referee wasn't going to call stalling. When I show up at a place, they go the other way. They know I'm going to call stalling, so their kids are more active because they know that. You as a coach know that. You're going to coach differently to let your kids wrestle, right? Next. General guidelines. It's the difficult thing, right? Wrestling, being consistent with that call, your philosophy, what you're using to develop your style, right? The best guys on the mat and ladies on the mat are recognized for the judgment call stuff, right? It's that close call, the judgment call on stalling, a close call on a boundary situation. Was it a takedown or not? Did it go takedown then reversal? That kind of thing. Each wrestler, you got to make an honest attempt to stay in the center of the mat. You got to wrestle aggressively, regardless of position, your time, your score of the match. Action's got to be maintained throughout the match, whether you're top, bottom, or neutral. Coaches, contestants, officials, we got to stop stalling when we can. And again, we know there's situational stalling where you're just trying to get that W, right? So, yeah, that may be there. Stalling, very subjective, right? Nobody's going to call it the same. Two different guys, me and Andrew, we're not going to call it the same. May call it very similarly. It's not going to be the same. We're going to recognize it differently. I said earlier, you got a guy who was a staller in high school and college. I was more aggressive in high school and college. So I want the stall call. I want you to call it. The other guy, maybe not so much. Be consistent. It's tough with the different dynamics of each match. You got to take into account what's been going on. Stalling front to back, first whistle to the last whistle. What kind of action was made, right? Who made the action? Traditional stalling, one outworking the other, right? So that's what we're looking at for that. Consistency, right? We got to be consistent. You guys drive us crazy, and we drive you crazy if we aren't consistent. Delays, shoelaces, shoes, yeah, we know that's automatic now. That's a stall call. Don't get your shoes untied. Keep them laced, keep them taped. Stalling, this is neutral stalling, right, on the boundary. If he backs off the mat, one of them pushes or pulls the other one off the mat. Or if you pick them up and walk them off the mat. Those are all stalling. That's an easy call. Any of those things that happen, it's a stall. Expect it to be there, right? That's not an action call. That's stalling. He backed off. He pushed or pulled it off. I'm here on the edge. I'm almost. I grab him by the hips and pull him out of bounds. That's easy. That's stalling. Next. All right, general guidelines continued. If you don't let them in bounds, right, if they're on the line, you mirror your opponent for a third of the mat on that circle, and then you don't let them in, you move forward and push them out. We got to look at two things. How did we get to the boundary, first off? Did this guy back to the boundary line? Well, maybe, but the other guy may have pushed him toward the line. How did we get there? And once we got there, what happened? Did one step out of bounds to cause the stoppage? Now I got to look at that, right? Standing behind, right? Not attempting. That's an easy one, right? You don't have to return them. You just got to attempt a return, right? So you do that, and you did the job for that portion. 2-on-1 tie. You don't do anything with it. You just hang on the arm. Straggling back from out of bounds. Yeah, he's set on bottom, or the other guy's on the line. Center. You're trying to get them back over here to the line. They don't get there. Stalling. Get there. Let's get ready to wrestle. Your kids should be in great enough shape they should be the first one back to the line. They should be hustling back and ready to go. Interlocking fingers, this is really more of a college type thing, but it does happen some in high school where those fingers get interlocked. Verbally let them know, get out of the fingers, right? If they don't release, stalemate it. They keep going back, we got to determine who went to the fingers. It makes it a little more difficult, right? So, all right, but be verbal, try to be preventative. Let's not go there and get out of it if we can. Next. Traditional stalling is not neutral boundary stalling. It's not the same thing. Top, you're outworking your opponent. The bottom one, you're on the boundary and you stepped out of bounds. You caused a stoppage. You're now putting it on that referee to determine who caused the stoppage. Action, we had a scramble, funk, we rolled out of bounds, okay. But if one person kept playing the edge and keeps going out of bounds, that's an easy call, right? Neutral boundary is not traditional. Yep. Neutral stalling, what are we looking for? What to recognize? Avoiding contact with the opponent, right? Leaving the circle, getting over on the edge. Preventing or returning from inbounds. Yep, I'm letting him get to the edge and then I'm trying to push him out, or I'm not letting him back in. That guy that plays the edge, you have those teams, you know who they are. They teach their kids, that's their culture, right? Coach Smith talking about culture. Their culture is to work that line. They play that line. The more you let them play that line, the more they're gonna play that line. Well, I'm not gonna let them play that line. I'm gonna hit them center, center, okay. Well, I told you to go center, you didn't, you're stalling, right? Repeatedly faking without a follow through. Lowering your level and slapping the leg, that's not a takedown attempt, right? There's no risk in that. Underhooks, wrist control without type of follow-through shots. Collar ties, pushing and pulling with no follow-through. Single or double underhooks without a shot attempt. That's all just slowing down wrestling, right? If you use that underhook, and I loved an underhook, right? You got to use it. If you're using it, good. You're in good shape. Wrist control, holding on to a single or a double wrist and not doing anything to advance. There are plenty of things to do from that, but just holding on to it doesn't work. Forearm or head-to-head tie-up, so collar ties getting in there, and you're not doing anything, you're just blocking out with the forearm. You're blocking. I have a big head. Well, I use that head in there all the time to block out, right? You can use it to your advantage, then you do, but it can be stalling, right? Grasping or holding a leg, no attempt to follow through. Grasping or holding it, preventing them from scoring. Well, that's one of those situations, they'll hold, improve, stalemate. Then what do? You get back to it, stalemate's on you, green. We get to it again. Now I might look to green for that stall because I've already told them now we're in a repeated action. Next. Again, traditional stalling, not neutral boundary stalling. So you're either working to score or you're stalling. So what does that mean? That's more of that traditional on the bottom, right? You're outworking your opponent. If you were working forward in neutral, you're on the top, you're working for turns off the hips, creating space, trying to make a turn. That's good, you're outworking. On bottom, you're trying to stand up, you're trying to reverse. That's you trying to score. If the top's just following, I'm looking toward the top guy because bottom is creating the action. Next. Offensive stalling. Wrestler not wrestling aggressively to attempt the breakdown, right? Not trying to work for a fall. That means he's sitting on the hips, right? Just laying there, he's got a western hook in, whatever. He's not advancing his position. He's happy to be behind the hips. Okay, that doesn't work. Improve, especially if the bottom is working, short sits, trying to stand up, they're trying to get out, right? Top's just hanging and riding, that's on top. That's an easy call on top. Breaking them down, heel trap to the butt, right? Easy call, the heel's trapped. 5, okay, stop, stall, right? Top guy's got to get off of that. And you'll usually hear a good ref will say, improve. I'm trying to help you out, top guy. Realize you got the heel trapped, right? So if they're paying attention, I'm not coaching them, but I'm trying to not have a situation where I give the stall out. That back ankle, the western hook, riding it with no attempt to break them down, just hanging behind the hips with the heel hooked, ankle hooked. Behind rear standing, not attempting a return. Again, if you're attempting, give me an honest attempt. Lift, a little leg bump, you're trying to get them back to the mat, good. just standing behind him and giving a little, that's not really an honest attempt, right? We need something that's honestly going to get him back to the mat. 2 legs unable to turn, resulting in a stalemate. Well, you got both boots in, you're on top, you're not getting anywhere with it. Okay, we'll stop it, we'll stalemate it. That's on you, top. The stalemate's on you. Both hips in, hips are elevated. Hard to do anything on bottom there, right? Cross body ride, not trying to improve. Arm bar broken down, not really trying to work further up the body to get something different, to get the turn. Improve, improve. It might go stalemate. It might go to a stall on top. Next. Top guy, not working or creating angles. The head's posted down. Bottom guy's not really doing anything there, right? Okay, he's not, but what's top guy doing? Is he improving his position or just posting the head down? We got to figure that out. We got to determine from action previous to this, how did we get there? Which guy caused us to get to this situation? Was bottom happy to have his head on the mat? Top just came up and posting. He's got a boot in. What's he doing, right? So if bottom guy isn't working for that escape or reversal, maybe it's top, because he's now staring at the referee, and next thing he's going to go, where's my stall call? Well, now it is definitely on you, because you're not working now because you're looking at me for a stall call. All right, next. Defensively stalling. Got to work to get your escape or reversal, right? You still got to score. You're either working to score or you're stalling, regardless of position. Well, bottom guy, you got to work to get the escape, the reversal. Did you initiate something? When you're broken down, are you building up, right? Are you trying to get up on a base? Once you come off the hips, top guy, defensive wrestler, are you taking advantage? Or are you content to lay on your belly? Keeping your belly button down on the mat, not a good thing, right? You're coaching them in the corner, build your base, build your base. Do they? They continue to lay there. I don't know, but that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for, okay? Defensive wrestler, are you improving anywhere, trying to score? Are you laying there with the elbows tucked in? Are you out there parterre, laying on your belly? Are you holding that wrist at your shoulder, not letting it go anywhere, not allowing the top guy to get there, right? Here's one I was telling the referees earlier. Bottom man's down, top guy's laying, he's over the hips, legs in between the bottom guy's legs. The bottom guy scissors the top guy's legs. Now the top guy can't get off the hips, right? Because his leg is trapped. Well, it was a referee. He didn't do the right thing. He hit the top guy. He never came out to look. He never changed his angle to see that the bottom guy had the legs crossed. The top guy couldn't get off the hips, right? So we have to change our angles. We have to move around so that we can see all the information that's out there, right? Because we want to make sure we get the right call. In that case, it should have been the bottom wrestler, not the top, right? Forehead on the mat, balled up, repeatedly crawling off the mat, working toward the edge, crawling out of bounds with no attempt to improve, right? Defensive wrestler doesn't get hit. When he gets hit, it's not a stoppage until the 2-point stall, right? Bottom man doesn't get hit. It's only the top guy when we're down on the mat, except for 2-point in all situations. Next. That's it? That can't be it. That's it? All right, questions? No questions? Coaches, y'all? Yes, sir. Right? My opinion is, first, how did we get to the boundary? If red backed to the boundary, rotated, then shot the guy out, I'm looking at red because we got to the boundary because of red, right? We didn't get to the boundary because of green. Red said, I'm going to the line. Then red rotated, and then red took the shot. Red caused that stoppage, not green, right? So I'm going to call it action that first time. I'm going to bring them back. Gentlemen, as we get to that edge, you need to maintain your control and work in bounds. And we've had that call before. It's funny because we were at the knockout tournament down in Florida, in Orlando, and one of the assistant coaches for one team from Georgia is a referee. And he told his kid to stop doing that. And his kid got hit on the second one for that particular behavior. And the kid was like, what? The coach pulled him aside and said, look, I told you to stop doing that because you're going to get hit if you keep doing it. And he did. So hopefully he learned something from that, right? We all make mistakes. We have issues. Referees, kids, coaches. You put that kid on bottom that one time, coach, and then he got turned about 4 times and lost the match, right? Bad choice, but we learned, right? So now we know something about that opponent. We're not going to put him there again. So we know that because we've done that, right? Like the commercial, we know things because we've seen things. It's that situation. So yeah, we got to figure out how we got, and if we're being observant, as referees should be, we see how he got to the boundary, which was him backing there, then rotating and trying to take us out, right? So we got to see that kind of behavior and know that that's how it got there, right? So, questions? Another one? Boop. I like that.
George, the example you gave us standing neutral.
For the post-back, we had a situation we were going over with the referees earlier. So, coaches, you're coaching your kid to come up to his feet. We all know that you got to get hip separation. You're fighting hands to try to get your one, right? You're trying to get your escape. I came up to my feet. I got to fight hands and cut, right, to get in there, to get that one. Well, down in Georgia, we had a situation with, and I referee both states, so if you wonder why I go back and forth between South Carolina and Georgia, and this coach, their team won the state title the year before, early in the season, and the coach, his kid has come up to his feet, but he's standing square, he's bent over, and he's just standing, and then he posts off the thighs of the offensive wrestler. Okay. Kind of hard for the offensive wrestler to work to get the attempt there because of the situation. Improve. Stalemate. I talked to the defensive wrestler, said, look, I said actually to both of them, you both have an onus to score here. You both have to work to score. So the coach is looking like, what? Why did you stop that? You know, that should have been a stalling on the offensive guy. Yeah, but your defensive guy still has the opportunity to score. He did not. He stopped. So we get back up there again. He gets to the same position. He posts off, and he's waiting. Coach goes, wait for the stall call. Wait for the stall call. And I went, stalling green. His kid was green. His head blew up. He lost his mind for a minute. But the kid immediately went boop, boop, and cut and got his one, which obviously he could get his one. He was waiting to bait me into a stall call. So I tell the coach, I'll talk to you after the match, after the duel, because we were near the end. We got finished because it was a draw situation. This was like the second to last match. So we got done, and I pulled the coach aside. I said, look, coach, you're very good. You're a good coach. You guys won state last year. Excellent job. I'd already texted him and emailed him, said great job at the end of the season. So great job on your team. So, but here's the problem. You're coaching your kids the wrong way. You're coaching them to try to bait the referee into a stall call, which by itself is an unsportsmanlike act, trying to bait the referee. It's like trying to put your hands down to get a locked hands call, right? Or take a knee to get the locked hands call. It's unsportsmanlike. So I explained to him. He says, well, the problem is the three-point takedown, that escape doesn't mean much anymore. So we're trying to get more out of it. Okay, I get it. So you want the stall call, but the problem is now you're doing something that has a bad look to it. The optic isn't good, right? So he's like, okay. So coach him better. You're a good coach. Just coach him to get the next takedown. Go ahead and get your one and try to get another takedown. Don't try to bait that call. 2 weeks later, we're at a tournament in Florida, the knockout, and I'm a mat over, and his kid's wrestling, and he's on the mat, and the kid comes up, posts out. Referee doesn't go stalemate. Referee went straight to stalling on his kid. And I happened to see I was on the other side of the mat and the other mat over, and he looks at me and I went, I told you, I tried to tell you. So they were calling it the same way there, and he just wasn't prepared for it. So he's now doing a better job of coaching his kids to not try to just get the stall call. Get your one, get out, try to get your takedown, right? So we're seeing what we see, but from coaching standpoint, you guys got to work what you feel is going to be best for your kids to score, and that situation for him wasn't necessarily the best. So, anybody else? So, I appreciate you having me here. Have a great season. Have a season, hopefully without many injuries. Your kids where they learn a lot and improve from the beginning, and by the time you get to postseason, you've got them coached up. They're buying into everything you're saying, Tiger style as it would be for Coach Smith. They're buying into what you're selling, and your kids are doing great at the end. Good luck to all of you. Appreciate it.